Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Scott McNeil, and you are watching Cosplay in Tampa Bay, the finest show on the Bay.
Hi, I'm Christina V. Thank you for watching Cosplay in Tampa Bay.
Greetings, commoners. This is Tommy Kisuo from the Oran High School Host Club, and if you're a quality individual, you're watching Cosplay in Tampa Bay.
Hello, Cosplay in Tampa Bay. I hope everyone's having a good time here at Metrocon. My name is Edwin, and here with me is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself,
Edwin.
Mr. Vic Mignogna.
Buddy, good to see you.
Awesome.
Cosplay in Tampa Bay.
Cosplay
I love
in
it.
Tampa Bay, indeed.
Hope you guys are enjoying. If you guys are not at Metrocon, you're gonna feel so bad that you missed it, because it's a great show. I haven't been here in, I think, 10 years. So I'm particularly excited to be here.
Oh, I am too.
Very excited.
Metrocon is one of my favorite conventions throughout all of the FloridaCon community. Everything here is so great. Everyone is so competitive in the most mature and nicest way possible. At least until they, finally spit out all their toxicity. That's just a joke, Arunk, but.
Well, people are people. What are you gonna do?
This is true. This is true. So, I think the biggest question that I'm pretty sure you've answered this a lot already, and that is, what inspired you to want to go into your field?
Well, you know what? I got to be honest with you, Edwin. I was never inspired to be a voice actor. I just wanted to act. And I think I speak for probably every voice actor I know. Nobody ever really sets out to just be a voice actor. That's too narrow. That's like saying, I want to only wash blue cars. No. You want to wash cars. You know what I mean? Or if there's something you want to do, you want to do a lot of it. And to just be a voice actor would be rather narrow. Most of the voice actors I know have a huge amount of experience in theater, on camera. They've done a lot of acting of all different sorts. And for me, it's no different. I started acting when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. I started auditioning for school plays, and then I kept going with it throughout high school and college. And then one day somebody encouraged me to audition for a little studio in Houston, Texas that dubbed anime. And this is what they said. They said they're looking for actors. They didn't say we're looking for voice actors. They didn't say we're looking for radio personalities or people with DJ voices. They were looking for actors. And that was what perked my interest. Oh, it's a chance to act. Well, maybe it's acting with my voice, but it's still acting. So I was never really inspired to be a voice actor. I just always loved acting. And so when the opportunity presented itself about 20 years ago now to voice act, I took it, and it's been a real gift. It's been a real blessing over the years.
Yeah, especially throughout all the things that you have done, like, for example, Full Metal Alchemist, Dean Angel, even Razafon, which is...
Oh my gosh, Razafon! I can't believe you said that, wow. Yeah. And just today, I had 4 or 5 people come by my autograph session with Full Metal Panic DVDs. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kurt's baby. I love Kurt's Weber. And Dragon Ball Z, and Pokemon, and so many great shows from even early on. Like you mentioned, Razafon and Full Metal Panic, Dean Angel.
Yeah, I still, I remember there was a convention here in Florida about 3 years ago, Florida Anime Experience, and I ran into Spike Spencer, and I showed him a lot of the stuff that he did earlier on, and he's just like, wow, this takes me back.
I bet you blew his mind, yeah. Yeah, Spike was another Texas boy like me. He was living in Houston, and the company, ADV, got the license to dub Evangelion. And that's literally where Spike started. Spike was an actor in Houston. Somebody encouraged him to audition for voice acting, and now he's doing it professionally. That's a lot of our stories.
Yeah, I totally blew his mind when I showed him the DVD series I love to this day, Orphan, and he was like...
I was an orphan.
Yeah, you were. I believe you were the diviner.
I played this character in Orphan who couldn't sing. I'll never forget it. He was like, I played a few characters in Orphan, I think, and one of them was like the innkeeper of some.
Yeah, he was an innkeeper.
And he sang. But here's the funny part. I'm a singer. Like, I sing and write and play music, so it is my intention to sing well. And this guy was supposed to be like tone deaf. So the director's like, okay, I want you to sing, but sing really bad. I'm like, this is hard. Like you spend your whole life trying not to sing bad, and now they want you to.
I remember just like watching it again for old time's sake, and I was like, he really went through all that.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
There's one other question. What was when it comes to all the characters you've ever done, what would be your most favorite, and which one would be your least favorite?
Well, most favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Ed from Full Metal. You know, you can't play a character that endearing for as long as I played him. See, it'd be one thing if I only played him for 10 episodes, you know what I mean, or 12 episodes. But when you consider the whole first series of Full Metal, the OVAs, the movie, the video games, and then Brotherhood, and the OVAs and the movie, I love Ed. And you know, I used to not answer that question. When people would ask me, what's your favorite character? I would look them over, and I would look for clues as to what they would like me to say. So if a young girl comes up to me dressed like Yuki from Vampire Night and says, who's your favorite character? Well, something in me, I'm gonna look over, I'm gonna go, oh, I bet she would love it if I said Zero. Oh, Zero's my favorite. Ooh, you're right. Or if somebody came up dressed as Winry or Mustang, you know. But when we finished Brotherhood, I'll never forget it. I was in the studio, it was the last day, I'm recording the last line, and it suddenly occurred to me, I, in all likelihood, will never voice this character again. This may be it. So I got very emotional about it, and it was really very overwhelming, considering, I mean, contemplating that would be the last of Edward Elric I would ever do. So since that point, I basically tell people, yeah, Ed's my favorite. Ed's my favorite. But Tamaki is a very close second place.
He's a very colorful character.
As far as least favorite, I don't have any least favorites. I would say there are some characters that are harder to play on the voice, like a Broly or something like that. They're hard on the voice, but it doesn't make me love the character any less. They're just not as easy, you know, to voice.
I see.
But I don't have any least favorites. I'm equally blessed and grateful to play every character I play.
It's actually really good. There's actually one question I've been meaning to ask, and this is just for any actor in general, because I myself am a music and theater student.
Cool.
What exactly do you have to do in order to finally break through that surface? Because I've been trying to do all of this since elementary school. Like, I've been doing a lot of elementary stuff. Back when I was living in New York, we had a junior production theater going down over in on 46th and Broadway.
Good for you.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, I'm here in Florida. I've graduated. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm still trying to push that line when it comes to the whole theater, but I haven't been not exactly recognized or anything. But I just want to know, how exactly can I push even farther?
Well, Edwin, you're not gonna like my answer. There is no answer. There is no magic formula to getting any opportunity in creative fields. There are so many people trying so hard to get into something like that here's what you need to do. Just keep doing it. You don't give up. If you want to get involved in any creative field, one thing you must have is a thick skin. And you must have tenacity. You can't, if you're the kind of person who gives up easily, if you're kind of the person who gets discouraged and like, this is not working out, and I'm never gonna make it, and this is too hard, and, another disappointment, well, then creative fields are not the fields for you. Acting, singing, drawing, art, dancing, name a creative art. There are lots of people who want to do it. And the people that make it are the people that don't give up.
Right.
I would dare say that some of the people that are on television, some of the people that are even voice actors, some of the people that are pop music stars are not necessarily the most talented in their field. They're the ones that didn't give up.
Right.
They're the ones that just kept pushing forward. and they got an opportunity and they made the most of it, and that made all the difference. So for you, I would say just keep doing it. Take any opportunity to develop your skills as best you can, and be ready for that door to open. And when it opens, you know,
I'm ready. I'm holding strong. I'm still holding strong. I mean, it worked for some of the other like beginners that are, you know, they were beginners and now they just they leaped in and they opened up the door. Like Christina V, perfect example.
Yeah,
I remember there was a thread. She was on a forum that I still go on to this day, the Voice Acting Alliance, and people still treat her as if she was a legend. And it's true. She started off, you know, as another AVA, another amateur voice actor.
Sure. You know Micah. Do you know Micah Solasad?
Yeah.
Micah was an anime fan living in Hawaii with his mom and sister. Just an anime fan. And he came to a convention and I met him. He was just a fan. And he told me that he always wanted to do this. And then he even invited me to their church on their island to speak to their young people, which I did. A year or two later, he got an opportunity at Funimation, and the rest is history. And now he's this awesome voice actor, soul eater, all in a great amount of work. But there was a time when I went to a convention just like this, and he was one of the thousands of people there that nobody knew and had no reason to believe he was ever going to make, you know, get any particular opportunity in the industry. But he didn't give up. He kept pressing forward, and so it does happen. But you have to be ready. It's not going to drop in anybody's lap, and if it does, you better have the skills prepared.
Yeah, and of course the thick skin that you mentioned.
Absolutely.
It's hard to take criticism. It really is hard.
Yeah.
So whether you have it or not, whether you still want to keep that drive or not, it's entirely up to the person itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. There is one other question I've been meaning. I'm not trying to make it kind of personal or anything.
Go for it.
Okay,
I'm an open book, man. Whatever you want.
The statement that you mentioned about being invited to the church. Now, this is concerning on a religious point here.
Okay.
Was there ever a character you had to turn down because it was the way how they acted towards certain religions?
All the time.
Or the way how they...
All the time. I have turned down many roles and shows because I just didn't feel good about. And there is no solid line. You know what I mean? There is no very clear line of demarcation where you go, anything on this side of the line is great, anything on this side of the line is wrong. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
And you have to kind of feel your way through it. It's kind of like life. You know what I mean? You just kind of got to feel your way through it. And sometimes you make a good choice, and sometimes you make a bad choice. And sometimes you do right, and sometimes you do wrong. And I've tried my best in many occasions. I've been offered a role, and I would look into the role, and I'd be like, and that sense, that voice inside you goes, this is really not something I want you to lend your talents to.
Yeah.
And so I'll say, you know what, I can't do it. And maybe that'll burn my bridge with that director. Maybe, maybe not. But you listen to the voice and you try to make the best choices you can.
Right.
And sometimes you make good ones, sometimes you make bad ones. But yes, there have been many shows over the years that either I've not even been invited to be a part of because they knew already that it wasn't something that I would feel comfortable with, or they would ask me and say, let me know if you feel comfortable with this, and I'll write them back and go, yeah, no, I'm afraid I don't.
Right. Yeah, because I remember like when I was just, going back to Rosafon, and I know how deep when it comes to religion Rosafon is about. And I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder if he had to like tolerate anything that goes down with the character.
But here's something else you need to remember. You're playing a character. You're not the character. You're acting. If I only played characters that were just like me, I wouldn't act very much, would I? I wouldn't get many opportunities, right?
Good point. That is a good point.
People write me all the time and they'll say, oh, how could you play, you're supposed to be this God, Jesus, Christian guy, and you played Edward Elric and he's atheist and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Ed's atheist. I'm not. I'm playing a character for the sake of the story. The example I love to use is even if you put on a play at your church, somebody has to play Judas. Right?
You're right.
I mean, even
You're
if
right.
you put on a play at a church, somebody has to play the character. Now, the guy that plays Judas, he's not a bad guy. He didn't betray Jesus. He's playing a character for the sake of the story. And that's exactly the way I feel about it. I don't like to play characters necessarily that glorify something evil or negative unless they get what's coming to them. Does that make sense? I've played a lot of bad guys. I've played a lot of creepy bad guys, but I've always noticed that usually, most of the time, they get what's coming to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They get defeated. They get crushed. They get beaten. But again, it takes me back to what I said a little bit again. You kind of have to feel your way. And I've played characters that I didn't really know much about, and then 3 or 4 episodes in, I'm like, oh no. I didn't realize this is where this was going. You know, but you're in it. So, you do your best, and you make the best choices you can. I've played plenty of characters that I am not anything like. It's like people, Kurt Weber, Full Metal Panic.
Yeah.
He swears. Well, I don't swear. So people write me, like, so how can you like say all those curse words when you Kurt Weber, you know, and you're Kurt Weber swears. I don't swear. It's that difference. It's playing a character and who you are. And I think most people that know me from my work and from public appearances and conventions, they know who I am and they know what I believe, and hopefully they understand the difference between playing a role and who the person is.
Yeah, because like coming from another actor's perspective, you know, people look at me the same way, and I'm just like, why? I'm just like, you really have to see me as the bad guy off stage as well as on stage. It's a real hassle. It is a
you never know.
hassle.
It's always a challenge.
Yeah. Well, before we go, I do have one final question, and this is just for everybody. This is just a little thing for the fans. After finishing a recording, after finishing a line, do you ever, like, when they do a playback, do you just see to yourself and going like, do I really sound like that?
I did at the beginning. When I first started doing this, I would watch lines come out of the character's mouth in playback, and I would think to myself, oh, that doesn't work at all. Like, I don't sound right for this character at all. I don't believe that that's that guy talking. But it really doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what the viewer thinks, right?
Exactly.
The fans. And I'll tell you something interesting too. This is something, I don't know if anyone's ever thought about this. Nobody on the planet hears your voice the way you do. Your voice sounds different to you than it does to everyone else on planet Earth. And you know why? Because when I speak, my voice resonates around in my head, and it bounces off all of those resonators and then comes out. And I hear myself a certain way. Nobody else hears my voice the same way as I do, or you hear your voice. So even if something doesn't work for me, even though I'll listen to something, oh, that doesn't work, what matters most is what the viewer thinks.
Right, of course.
And it's hard to become, it was hard for me at the beginning to become used to my voice coming out of an anime character's mouth. I thought, is that good? Was it good? It didn't sound good to me. But you get used to it after a while. You just kind of do the best you can.
Yeah, especially after, like, you know, reviewing all your takes over and over again, and you're just like, I don't know how I feel about that.
And sometimes I'll hear something in my voice that I don't like, and the director's like, it sounded fine to me, and I was like, can I do one more? Can I do it again? Because I'll hear something, maybe the way I said a certain vowel, the way I formed a certain word, or did something that I didn't think sounded good, and it may be something again only I hear.
Right.
But I often ask a director, can I do that one more time? Make it better.
No, that's perfectly understandable. I know the feel. I understand that feel, and I think a lot of actors understand that feel. I'm sure it's just something how they all go by. Well, that's actually all the time we have. Thank you, Vic, for joining us.
My pleasure. Get down there and see this awesomeness.
Definitely.
Metrocon is happening big time, and we're having a great time. So.
All right. So for everyone at Cosplay in Tampa Bay, we'll see you guys next time.